I am Davide Mauri and this is my tale. This is Italian Roads, the story of those streets that no one will ever tell you about. I had many doubts about what might be the first experience to tell among the many that I want to share with you all. But in the end, the choice was not so difficult. It is right to start with something that is as simple as possible, something that embodies the spirit of this podcast in the deepest way. And what could be simpler to describe a place if not its bread? I must be honest. I can talk about bread very easily, because I am unfortunately very too greedy for everything coming out from an oven. To tell you about this wonderful gift that the mountains of Umbria offer us, I have to take a leap into the past of about 20 years, in one of my first trips up and down the old Flaminia road. So I take home for the New Year's Eve in a tiny village near Montefranco, a small town perched in the middle of a remote hill on the mountains that surround the Nerina Valley, valnerina in Italian. I'm not exactly based in village in Montefranco. To be honest, I have to say, today I couldn't find that small group of houses scattered somewhere in the green. The house is pretty nice, but in that remote group of buildings there is not even the shadow of a shop. Beautiful views and priceless peace, but nothing that can offer food. Luckily, a few meters from the door of my accommodation, I meet my temporary neighbor, Giorgio, and it takes few minutes to tell me that he works in the steel factory in Terni, that he lives with his elderly mother, and that if I don't have wood enough for the fireplace, he can give me some logs. And we'd only met 3 minutes before. Giorgio, sorry, I was forgetting the most important question. Where can I buy some bread tomorrow morning? The answer was immediate. Devi andare a Strettura. You must go to Strettura. There is the best bread in Italy. I didn't need to know anything else. The next day, back on the Flaminia road, I take the side street that indicates Strettura. I don't need a lot of time to figure out why that name. In fact, the views goes down tighter and tighter, until you get in the town that consists in 2 rows of houses that line the road, all in a gorge under the state road overlooking the town. Oh well, tight is tight, that's for sure. We are less than halfway between Terni and Spoleto, shortly after the pass of La Colma, that with its tunnel separates Terni from Spoleto's territories. Exactly in the middle of the village, I have the first contact of my life with an Umbrian butcher, that in Umbria they name Norcino. The first thing I see is a row of lamps, abbacchi they call them, dangling all naked, fresh from the slaughter, in the window. I must confess I have no vegetarian ambition, I apologize, but that window there won me over in a flash. I climb 3 steps and enter in a paradise made of hams variously aged and lonzini or capocolli, typical sausages, hanging from the ceiling, dressed with the standard brown food paper, ready to be sliced or sold whole. And behind the glass of the counter, I see for the first time in my life a beautiful loin of Umbrian chianina meat. You know what kind of meat is chianina? If not, think about paradise. That's enough for now. I will tell you more about chianina next time. And we were talking about bread, right? The bread, in fact. To find it, I go up to the final part of the village. On the left side of the road, I find a grocery store with beige canopy curtains to protect the shop windows from the sun and the rain. Vantaggi Alfredo, says the faded writing on the canopy. Well, from outside, I must confess, it didn't tell me much. at least until I entered. Here I know the first of my friends and dealers of Umbrian groceries. His name is Massimo. He has that jovial expression, colored by two always red cheeks and a nice stick of mustache. He also gets immediately familiar to me. We quickly break the ice, it's a matter of moments, and Massimo shows me a remarkable wine cellar. And just to better know us, he uncorks something extraordinary. It's a kind of blonde nectar, a special passito, sweet wine, or better, the more specific, a late harvest that is a sweet, almost liquor wine, obtained by leaving the grape on the plant well beyond the ripening time, allowing it to develop those sugars and malts that give the product unique characteristics. They call it the Sauterne of Umbria, Massimo tells me. Sauterne is a famous sweet French wine. The label says La Palazzola. For me it is much better than the Sauterne. But we talk about wines another time. Now that we have completed this extraordinary preamble, let's finally talk about bread. I must say that I didn't learn everything I know now on that first visit. Many of the details about this bread have been told to me over time on several occasions, and not everything has been told to me yet. To begin with, the bread of Struttura is sciapo. It means bland, without salt. In central Italy it is certainly not rare, but in these places where the sausages are usually very seasoned and tasty, the bread eaten with them must necessarily be nurtured to enhance the flavors. The one of Struttura, to tell the truth, is not a bread but a big loaf. In fact, loaves are from minimum 1 kilogram up to 3. It has a high crust, but not seamed like other famous bakery products, such as some exceptional southern loaves. This loaf is of a beautiful uniform biscuit color, and even freshly baked is hard to slice. I wasn't told how the dough is made, but the leavening is long, and it could not be otherwise. The crumb is compact to the touch, consistent, perfect to be toasted and impregnated with oil. Yes, the oil. We'll talk about it soon. I don't know if it is because of the leavening or the water or the flour, but you can't stop eating this bread. Only after a few years I discovered something more. It happened when Massimo took me to the oven. It is a bundle oven, one of those with a brick dome and a refractory stone base. Completely closed, they are brought in temperature by burning quick bundles of dry branches, and in which the bread matures without flame, closed in its very hot sarcophagus that cooks it without taking away too much moisture. For a bread lover like me, I have to say, a love broke out that day. With that bread there, I tried everything, really everything. From the oil, in the classic bruschetta, to lentils. From wild boar sausage to panzanella. What is it? You will know soon. Up to every kind of salami in the area, including ciauscolo. Yes, the ciauscolo. But it is another story. Back home after shopping, in that remote place on a patch of green, while I was turning in my mouth a strip of salted meat as it was licorice, I thanked Giorgio for the precious indication, obviously giving him a nice loaf of bread. I am Davide Mauri, and this is Italian Roads. Whether it's a travel guide or a story, it's up to you. Join my podcast and visit with me other hidden, beautiful Italian roads.